Last week, I kicked off the Mailbag / Ask Me Anything series by asking you guys to leave questions in the comments below for me to answer in the next video, and that's what I'm doing here. And today we're going to start off with a question regarding the Pittsburgh Penguins. But before we get into that though, go down and leave a comment for me to feature you in the next week's episode, because I'm going to start doing these every Friday. Now on to the first question. The first question of the day comes from Maddox Ice Maddox. If you could make one trade for the Pittsburgh Penguins that would be reasonable, what would it be? If you would have asked me at the beginning of this summer, it probably would have been a long shot like Erik Karlsson or something wild like that, but I guess that was reasonable considering they ended up getting him. My dream trade for the Pittsburgh Penguins would be Connor Hellebuyck. I think he would be an amazing fit, and he would shore up the goaltending that's been an issue the past couple years. Now, I know that's not very reasonable considering the price that they would have to get up, but I would love to see him in a Pittsburgh Penguins uniform. One reasonable move I think they could make is signing Thomas Tatar here soon. I think that would really help bring out more offense in the top six, and then whenever Jake Gensel's back, it would help give offense in the bottom six as well. One trade I would like to see them make is make a trade for a good left or right pairing defenseman for the third pair. I don't really have any specific player in mind, but I do think that's one weakness of the team right now. POJ and Chad Ruhwedel are both NHL defensemen, but they're both a little bit weaker. Having them play separately can work, but I think playing them together just isn't going to be the best fit for the Penguins. I do think that third pairing defenseman is going to be something that Dubas looks at and probably addresses at some point throughout the season. He has signed a bunch of PTOs with different guys such as Mark Pysyk and Will Butcher that could end up taking one of those spots, but who knows, it's just a matter of when the season starts. Now that the first question's out of the way, let's move on to the second one. This next question comes from TJ Yankovic 7082. Should the Leafs bother re-signing Nylander if he wants over $9 million annual value? See, I think this is a tough question to answer, because he is a very good player for the Maple Leafs, and he's one of the core that they have there. The issue with it, though, is that they're already cap-strapped, and I don't think that he's worth $9 million exactly. If he would get signed $9 million, I would kind of see why, but anything over 10, no way. The dude is very solid, and he's getting better, but over the years, he has issues at different times where they've had to move him to different lines to get him going. A $9 or $10 million player shouldn't have to be moved to play with specific people to get him going. That's just not how they should be when they're making that much money. Personally, I think the sweet spot for Nylander should be $8.5 to $9 million, but maybe I'm just naive because I'm not that big of a fan of the Maple Leafs. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But really anything over $9 million, I'd be very hesitant. I could maybe see $9.25 million, but definitely anything over $9.5 million is too much for William Nylander. Let me know what you guys think though. Now let's move on to our third and final question for the video. Make sure you guys leave more in the comments below, and I'll make the videos longer each week. This next question comes from Maddox Ice Maddox again. Will the Bruins be a playoff bust once again next season? See, I think this is a very loaded question for multiple different reasons. This offseason, the Boston Bruins have lost a lot of important pieces that they had on the team last year. Patrice Bergeron retired, David Krejci retired. They traded out Taylor Hall to make cap space to sign Tyler Bertuzzi, and then Tyler Bertuzzi didn't even sign with them. All those players I just mentioned were very big pieces for them last year, and not having them is definitely going to hurt the Bruins a lot this year. I think that they can sneak into the playoffs, but I also think that there's a very big chance that they could miss the playoffs for the first time. The Atlantic Division has a bunch of rising stars in it, and I think this could be the year that a team like the Buffalo Sabres could jump above them in the standings. Even if they make the playoffs though, I don't see them going very deep. They're lacking a lot of depth throughout their forward core now, and I think that's really going to cost them as the season goes on. On top of that, I can see Linus Ullmark regressing a bit this year and not being quite at the form that he was at last season, because that was just hard to maintain throughout an entire season again. Granted, they do have Jeremy Swayman who can take over the reins if Ullmark does start to falter a little bit, but I do think it'll be a hard season on Ullmark. So, to answer your question 100%, I think they will be a playoff bust once again. Make sure you guys leave more questions in the comments below. I'll answer every single question that gets left down there, and I'll feature everyone that I can. Feel free to answer some of the questions that I answered in the comments below as well. I want to have a good discussion going in the comments, and I really enjoy seeing you guys comment and just talking in general. It makes me feel so proud of the community that's being developed on this channel. If you made it this far into the video, go down and hit that like button. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe. I'm chasing 300 subscribers, and your support really helps me out. Thank you guys so much for watching.